We can hear I-81 right over there, which was built by tearing down the homes of people who lived in the 15th Ward. And we now know that that is a racist thing that happened. It was discriminatory. That is the history we have in this town. There is a long deposit of these discriminatory actions taken about infrastructure, taken about transportation, and they all affect housing. And that's what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with the buildup of this over time, and we have to address it today.
I like to speak. I'm the matriarch of Onondaga. I hold the allodial title to all this land. And for you guys silencing me, and
we'll get there in just a minute.
You're gonna hear my voice now, okay?
You're
gonna hear my voice now.
Good cause eviction passed here. We need good cause eviction passed now. We need it for the 61% of Syracuse residents who are tenants and need security and stability in the places that they live.
Yes.
So we need the Common Council to do, after we're here today, you're going to hear from a number of the folks behind me, and you're going to hear from all of them inside. We are going to go inside, let the Common Council know how we feel politely during their town hall meeting tonight. And we have a very simple request. Number one, vote yes on good cause eviction. Right. That's what we need. Number two, that vote is happening on Monday. That vote is coming. We have to be ready. And we are going to fill the House tonight, and we are going to fill the House on Monday with folks who are here to support good cause eviction. And let me tell you, 61% of the people in Syracuse are tenants. That's why we need good cause eviction. And I want to shout out a good cause champion right here, our yes vote, Donna Moore. Donna, let's hear it for Donna. Vote number 5 right here. We are, and another good cause champion just showed up, Sally Santangelo. Come on over, Sally. So we have 61% of the people who live in our city are tenants. And we need this because the math says we need it. The numbers say we need to have this. In the last few years, we've seen a 192% increase in family homelessness. We have seen 20% year-over-year rent increases. 45% of people currently experiencing homelessness lived in a place with housing vulnerability or lived in a place where there has been an eviction that went forward. This is necessary for the people of our city. We lead the nation in the categories we should not be proud of. So let us put in place a common sense public policy that is going to make a difference here in this community in the lives of the 61% of people who live here who rent. It's about time, right? Yeah. So like I said, we're going to try to get folks out inside soon enough, so you'll hear from some of the folks behind me. And the first one you're going to hear from is State Senator Rachel May, who is one of the champions in the state legislature who got good cause passed in the first place.
So good cause does two things, basically. It says that a landlord can't evict a tenant without good cause. Good cause might include that they haven't paid their rent or they're trashing the place, but they've got to have a reason. They can't just say, I don't like you, or I want some other tenants. They have to have a reason. And the other thing is, it says they can't just jack the rent up as a way of getting rid of you. They can only raise the rent at a certain pace, whatever the community sets as an appropriate one. But that's important here, where rents are rising incredibly fast and they're causing massive housing instability. The whole point of this bill is to promote stability in housing. And why do we care about that? Well, we care about that because if kids are changing their schools constantly, they're not going to do well in school. If parents are having to move all the time, that's expensive it's really hard now that it's difficult to find a place, and it's going to affect their ability to get to work and get their kids to school and all of those things. And if people are moving constantly, nobody knows their neighbors. You end up with much less safety in neighborhoods because people aren't able to keep an eye out for each other because they don't know who their neighbors are. So housing stability is a value for the city, for the community, as well as for the tenants who live in those properties. And so that's why it's important that we pass this. And it was a big deal in the state legislature when we passed it, but what we passed was to give communities the right to decide whether they were going to implement this or not. And I think Syracuse is one of the places most in need of this kind of policy, especially as we see so many people living rent burdened and simply not able to afford a place to live. So I'm excited. I thank you, Alex, for organizing this, and I hope the Common Council decides in favor of good cause on Monday. Thank you.
And speaking of the Common Council, there has been no stronger champion on the Common Council than Hannah Ehrenreich. And in the short time she's been in office, the 6 whole weeks, she has changed the temperature in the room, she has changed the vibe of the place, and she's a real one, everybody. She is a real one. She has big ideas and then does the work to back it up. And I am so proud to call Hannah my partner in government, and incredibly proud that she is leading the way and counting the votes to get good cause eviction done.
When I was 4 months pregnant and a military spouse in Fayetteville, North Carolina, we were contacted by our leasing agent, and we were told that a month until the deadline to renew our lease, that our lease was going to be increased by twice the amount that we were currently paying. That went from an affordable $800 2-bedroom in a military town to well over $1,200. I think it was around $1,600, $1,700, which is on par for what an officer's spouse or an officer's family could pay, but not for an enlisted. We were given no reason for this change. We had faithfully reported things broken with the apartment, things that we needed fixed. I am not a shrinking violet, so I had been documenting and calling and making it clear that rotted floorboards and a security system that didn't work and the need to be able to change our locks ourselves were non-negotiables in terms of safe housing. I don't know that those were the reasons, but my landlord didn't need to give me any reasons. He could have changed our rent at any time, and he could have canceled our lease. And ultimately what happened was he wanted us out. And I called the leasing agent and I asked them, did we do something wrong? Like, is there something wrong with our lease or our payments or... And she said no. The leasing agent felt really bad for us. She felt very sorry for us. But ultimately, even though we were leaseholders in good standing, even though we were prepared to stay, even though it was stable housing at a price that we could afford, we were not given that option. We did not have good cause eviction to prevent us from being forced out. And this is the kind of measure that good cause eviction prevents. It does not solve all of our problems. It does not provide rent control. It does not keep people from being evicted if they are not paying their rent. It does not provide rental subsidies. But it allows people who are in good faith, holding their leases well, protection. And we need to protect all people who need housing stability right now. So this is a baseline universal tenant protection. I think it's very common sense. It doesn't protect everybody, but we need more focus on housing instability and housing justice. So this is one step in the right direction. Thank you.
We have some representatives here from the legal community today, so I'd like to bring up Luce from the Volunteer Lawyers Project.
Hello, I'm Luce Marina Zender, the pro bono coordinator for the Volunteer Lawyers Project. And while I was listening to other folks speak, I was just reminiscing about a story of when I went to visit an old friend of mine in New York City. And I told her that I was still working for a shelter here in Syracuse, very popular one down the street here. And she broke out and shared a story about her mother and herself and her siblings would stay at shelters a lot. It was like their place, what I would call a frequent flyer to the shelter. And to this day, I mean, she was 40 some years old. And to that day, I'll never forget that pain and the anguish that I saw her and how she shared how embarrassing it was to have to get off the school bus at the shelter to go to school. So with that, I'm so grateful that I have the opportunity to work with a local organization that does not only does eviction defense. My coworker Virginia goes to court every day and does eviction defense, and I do the tenants' rights program. I'm constantly, and the phone calls, constantly hearing clients call and sharing heart-wrenching stories about homelessness, about how their rent had gone from $600 to now $1,200. A young lady who lives down the street in one of those fancy buildings had a lease that was over, that was $1,200. And now because she's month to month going to be paying another $600, plus $1,200 plus the $600 more. So with that, I believe that, it's about time, and we need to have this opportunity to have good cause to be able to protect tenants who don't have the voice, really. They have advocates like us to help support them. And so with that.
Thank you, Lucy. Thank you for your incredible work. So before we get on to the rest of our speakers, I just have one question for everyone here. What do we want?
Good cause.
And when do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Good cause.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Good cause.
When do we want it?
Now.
I don't know about you. I don't know if anyone here is cold. I'm just getting warmed up. And that chant was from Mark Spatafor, who is traveling right now, but has been an ardent supporter of good cause. Mark Spatafor, for those who don't know, is the head of the Greater Syracuse Labor Council, which represents over 35,000 union members in this community. And those 35,000 union members are eager supporters of good cause eviction, and they want to see this law get passed in this community. And so one group of people I think it's important to acknowledge in this is landlords. And there's been a lot of talk about the perspective of landlords. So I want to bring someone over who can share some of that perspective. And that's Peter McCarthy, who's also a leader in the CMY Solidarity Coalition, but himself has been a landlord before.
Thanks, Alex. I'm a member of CNY Solidarity Coalition Steering Committee, and we strongly support good cause legislation. I have lived in Syracuse my whole life. I've been a tenant, I've been a homeowner, I've been a contractor for a short time, 40 years ago, and I've been a landlord. I'm a landlord, small landlord, 2 to 3 units. I now rent out 1, and I support this. Why? Because I want to live in a community, and I live in the city. I want to live in a community where everybody has rights, not just property owners. Restricting rights to property owners is oppressive. It's class warfare. Everybody needs rights, and the tenants need rights. I want to tell you a quick story. 40 years ago, I was doing some work on a house for a very wealthy individual in one of our suburban communities where most of our landlords live. And he was spending about $100,000 in his backyard that summer. And I was talking to him, nice enough guy. I have no idea how he treated his hundreds of tenants. But I asked him about the business, and he said, it's almost embarrassing how easy it is to make a lot of money doing this. So I don't want to hear the sob stories from the landlords complaining about their tenants. Sure, there are problems. I've seen problems. But they have legal recourse. If there's problems with that, they need to deal with the courts, not fight against this law that makes the unprecedented steps of actually giving rights to people who have to rent to live. Thank you.
Would anybody care to hear the other side?
And I think,
Does anybody
so
want to
there's
hear the
another,
other side?
hold on. So there are so many folks in this community who have been supportive of this, one of whom I am always deeply impressed by. Someone who is a leader in this community, a quiet leader, a thoughtful leader, but I'm hoping she can come say a few words. Gwen Boak, who's the head of the local NAACP chapter. So come on down, Gwen. Thank you so much for being here.
Good afternoon, and we want to thank everyone for coming out to support Good Cause. Personally, I am definitely in favor of Good Cause because people do need housing, and when there are evictions, we have too many families who are living in hotels whose kids are having to be bused into the city in order to attend school. So we do need Good Cause eviction, and we are hoping that the City Council will agree and will vote yes on Good Cause eviction on Monday.
All right, so we've got a number of other folks I'd like you to hear from. So I think we've got also here, we have, oh, hold on. We've got Sally Santangelo here, who is the head of CNY Fair Housing, which works to represent folks who have been discriminated against, conduct investigations, and take corporate landlords to court when they're discriminating against folks. We have Sally here. Sally, oh, there she is.
Thanks, Alex. So I'm the executive director at CNY Fair Housing. We provide fair housing services to 17 counties of central and upstate New York, and I'm proud to say several cities that have passed Good Cause eviction already. And we do urge the Common Council to pass Good Cause because it is so hard for tenants to enforce their rights, all of their rights, including their fair housing rights, their rights to a habitable and safe apartment when they are facing uncertainty in whether they can stay in that home. When an individual calls our office and asks about an issue they're facing, whether it's code enforcement, whether it's a fair housing issue, whether they're requesting a reasonable accommodation to help accommodate their disability, one of the first things we ask them is how long is left on your lease? And do you have an option to move and a different place to go if your landlord decides to non-renew because you are trying to enforce your rights? Because the reality is folks are living in a tenuous situation. And we are constantly hearing folks who will not complain because they don't have a right to remain in their home if they do. We have just yesterday I received a complaint regarding a tenant who had a codes complaint, actually qualified for emergency repairs, the city's emergency repair program, but their landlord threatened eviction. And they actually called codes and asked to withdraw their complaint because they were afraid they were going to become homeless. And they had been they hadn't had heat the entire winter, but they were afraid that they weren't going to be able to remain in this place that was their only option to live. Tenants need basic rights. They need the right to stability. They need a right to stay in their home, and they should be able to enforce their rights without fear and without the prospect, the uncertainty that they're currently facing in a really, really tough housing market. Thank you.
Silly, I have a question.
Hold on.
Can I ask you a question?
Not now. We've got, folks will be able, everyone can go speak to the counselors inside. So there are so many people here who know that housing is integral to so many challenges that we have across our community. Housing and transportation and healthcare are all interrelated issues. And to speak a little bit more about that, I want to bring down Alex Lawson, who also works with Sally at CMY Fair Housing, but runs the Moving People Transportation Coalition, which works on the intersection of housing and transportation and planning issues in the city of Syracuse.
Thank you. A lot of times when I get up here and talk about problems with housing, we talk about the history in Syracuse. And we've learned a lot about it the last few years. We can hear I-81 right over there, which was built by tearing down the homes of people who live in the 15th Ward. And we now know that that is a racist thing that happened. It was discriminatory. That is the history we have in this town. There is a long deposit of these discriminatory actions taken about infrastructure, taken about transportation, and they all affect housing. And that's what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with the buildup of this over time, and we have to address it today. And part of the problem is that when you look at where people rent, it's in the city. It's not possible to get out into the county as much. And so this is where tenants live. This is where they need rights. And this is why, as Alex said at the beginning, we've got 60% of the residents of the city of Syracuse are tenants. You know, it is amazing to me that this would not be just a common sense thing for our elected officials to support, to give more rights to the people who are here. When Sally and I work on, just talking to residents across the county about what it is that they need to enjoy housing, transportation always comes up. They say, my housing is conditioned by my transportation. I can choose where to live based on where I'm able to go. Mobility is freedom, and I don't have the freedom and mobility to live anywhere, so I'm in Syracuse. And it's enriching for our community. It's why we have more people here. But we need to protect these people. We need to have laws that protect their rights as tenants so that they can live full lives here. And so we've been talking about this for so long. 2022 is when the Common Council passed a resolution in support of good cause at the state level. 2024, it came back on the agenda here. We've had so many meetings, so many hearings. It's been talked to death. And people are still losing their housing. We need to vote now. We need to finish this now. We need to give people the rights now. And so I am calling on the Common Council to vote on this as soon as possible, Monday the 23rd. Let's get good cause passed, get people their rights.
Alex.
So hold on, we got a lot of folks we're still got to get to today. So I think it's really important that we hear about the impact that tenant protections have on our new American community. Because so many people come to this country the way my family did a century ago. They come to this country to have a better life. And we have folks who come to this country who come from places of great oppression, come from places that are struggling. And they come to this country and they become renters very quickly. And many of them are often the victims of exploitation. They're the victims of unscrupulous people who are seeking to take advantage of them. So I'm hoping we can get Mark Cass, who's come on, Mark. We'd love to hear from you. Can we get you?
I like to speak. I'm the matriarch of Onondaga. I hold the allodial title to all this land. And for you guys silencing me, and
we'll get there in just a minute.
You're gonna hear my voice now, okay? You're gonna hear my voice now. Okay.
It can be.
Now I am houseless. I've been houseless since last March. Okay, because this thing didn't pass, and we need to get this passed. Now I'm here on the behalf of the people in the land. Now people have been trying to silence me for the past 10 years. I've been out here. I've been taking hits. You see my face? I've been taking hits out here. The police, from the judges, to all these politicians, to the mayors, to the governors, to Vatican, to the goddamn Washington, D.C., they all know who I am, and they still continue to silence me. I'm houseless. Now I plan to hear from Syracuse Housing this week about my situation, me and my grandkids. I had to relocate my family out of here because of this active genocide. I'm 53 years old. I have a story to tell, and I got receipts. Thank you.
I have a question.
Thank you. That is very, very powerful. I appreciate that. And I want to make sure the Common Council hears that as well. So hold on. We've got a lot of other folks. Hold on. We're good. Folks will be able to speak to the council inside. We've got a lot of folks here who want to speak right now. We organized that. Hold on. So next up, we've got AK. Can we get AK? Come on, AK, from the Syracuse Tenants Union, who has been working tirelessly to organize tenants across the city of Syracuse.
Hi. My name is AK. I have been working with the Syracuse Tenants Union as well as Housing Justice for All for several years now. I am a tenant myself. I have been facing active discrimination for pretty much the entire last 5 years that I've been with this current landlord. And he is currently trying to raise our rent by like 20%, which would be completely it's not affordable for anyone in my house. I live with 10 people, I brought one of my housemates here today. And we are already scraping by. Good Cause would limit how much he could raise it by and guarantee that we can stay in our homes because we abide by our lease. We're good tenants. We take care of the home. We care about the home. We've upheld a good standing with this landlord, and it's really important to pass Good Cause immediately because it's been way too long. It's been years. Like you said, we've been working tirelessly for years. And it's time to pass Good Cause. Pass Good Cause on the 23rd, no later. Do not table this. Thank you.
Now, I want you all to meet someone who I consider the godfather of the tenant movement here in the city of Syracuse. He is not only someone I have immense respect for and have come to love as part of this community, but he is someone who speaks to the moral conscience of tenants and renters here in the city of Syracuse. So, as long as we can get all of our papers in order. So I want everyone to meet GKM, who is a Northside tenant and can share his experiences as a tenant in Syracuse.
Well, everybody has just about said it, but I just want to follow up on that. And the primary thing is homelessness. Homelessness, we know, is a crime against humanity, and we have the homelessness is just widespread in Syracuse, New York, and it needs to stop. Good Cause Eviction will help to put some of that stoppage on homelessness. We need good cause eviction because people get evicted, as you heard all the people here already state, because of high rent and because of frivolous reasons that the landlord, I don't like you, you're out of here. We need to stop that so that we can put a stoppage somewhere on this homelessness plight. Now, of course, Good Cause, as was already said, is not going to stop homelessness altogether. We all got to get to do other things to stop homelessness, but Good Cause is something that we need to put into effect so that we can stop this homelessness that it causes, the evictions. So that's what I'm for. I'm primarily about homelessness because I was homeless myself, and I know what it feels like walking around in the street and living on the street, and it's not a good feeling. Good cause eviction can help to stop that kind of thing. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Now, I don't want to keep everyone out in the cold too long, so there are two more folks I'm going to have you hear from. The first is Mark Cass from the Northside Learning Center, who's been active in our New American community for many years.
Thank you. And also representing Northside Futures, a neighborhood development initiative focused on housing, focused on safety, and focused on livable wage jobs. So as Alex was talking, another important intersection with housing is education. And we deal with families who lose housing or put in a hotel somewhere, can't attend school. Poor quality housing also impacts low attendance on a frequent basis in the school system. And frequently, we're approached by people who are dealing with all kinds of issues with landlords, with codes. This has been going on way too long. There's been plenty of time for input. So I'm just calling on the Common Council to pass Good Cause, today. Thank you.
We have one more speaker, then we're all going to head inside and warm up a little before the council hears from everyone. But there's one other important piece of news I want to share with everyone. So the folks you hear behind me have a lot to say, and you're going to hear from all of them inside, and you're going to hear from all of them and more inside. But coordinated by the good folks at Housing Justice for All, there's a letter being shared with the council after this signed by 45 different community leaders and organizations who are urging the council to pass Good Cause and pass it on Monday because it is the time to do it the right way. So for those who are out here today, for those who have come out in the cold today and knocked on doors in the cold to talk to their neighbors and been out there in the cold working on this for so long, you are not alone. There is an entire community fighting for this, and there's an entire community that is trying to get this done for the city of Syracuse. Now, with that, I want to introduce the man, the myth, the legend, county legislator and chair of the Ways and Means Committee, Mo Brown.
Thank you for that. Thank you all for being out here. This is a wonderful turnout. Sorry if I knock over anyone's mic. I'm very passionate. Thank you to Alex for bringing this up. And thank you for all the people coming out here, even on both sides. My name is Maurice Brown. I am the county legislator for the 15th district here in Onondaga County. I think that housing, healthcare, and education are human rights. And I think the role of local government is to protect those rights. I want to thank the Syracuse Common Council for taking a step today towards protecting those rights. Housing is a human right. Everyone in our community deserves to feel protected at home. That is not something that we should be debating. I'm going to be brief because I know everyone's waiting for me to get out the cold, so I'm not going to hold folks. But this is a really important conversation we need to have in this community. We need to understand that when good landlords get bad tenants, their investment, is harmed. Although rare, it does happen. But when good tenants get bad landlords, people die. Families are broken. Lives are interrupted. We need to make sure that we're taking care of our people. A privileged society, a good society, the sign of a great society is not how they treat the best in their community. It's how they treat the most vulnerable. We need to make sure we're doing everything we can to protect people in our community. We are a community of people, we are a community of renters, we are a community of tenants, and we are stronger together. Thank you all for being out here, and I'm looking forward to hearing what everyone has to say inside. Thank you.
We're gonna have one more speaker because no conversation's complete without Agnes McCrae. So I just want everyone to hear Agnes McCrae. Come on up. Oh, yeah, why don't you come over here? We'll hold the mics for you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Agnes McCrae. I wear many hats in my community, but I'm known as a human rights activist and advocate. And today we're here because we need to make a wrong a right. Because two wrongs does not make a right. For a long time now, we have not been taking care of our most vulnerable. We're doing process over the human right things that needs to be done. Our families, our children need the future of not tomorrow, but of today. They need their hopes and dreams met, and they need to have a safe place to live. And everything starts at home. We can no longer go back to status quo. Syracuse have always been a productive community. I can say that because when I came to Syracuse from the Caribbean, there was nothing accessible in our community at all. And now here we are, it's 2026. Accessibility is not just about opening a door or letting us all in. We need to continue to have voices at the table. It's our responsibility and our right. We need to protect the future for all involved, all our families who really need us to step up because they're afraid and so scared that they may be put out, and where would their children be? When we all leave here, we have homes to go to. What about those that don't or can't even have a warm place for their children to be? The land, the everything. We need to keep fighting for our community that is safe, that is welcome into all. And I like to say, all is welcome here. There's nothing about us without us. It doesn't matter the language we speak or whether we're sitting or standing. If we are as wanted in the community. And I'm proud to be here. I'm proud to raise my children here and to represent the community. And we really need to be telling the council nothing about us without us. We want an opportunity. They want a chance. And let's fight for our children of now, not tomorrow, but right now. Those family needs us, and our children need us. I was just at the library and saw many children of all colors and all abilities reading books. You know, we need to represent America, even if America doesn't represent America right now. We gotta keep it moving. And I just want to thank everybody here today. And this is not the end, but a new beginning, because we have to continue to get it right. We love Syracuse. Syracuse is more than basketball. It's more than either one of us. You know, I just like to continue to fight for accessibility, love, and peace, and understanding for all. And we need to be heard, and we need to be at the table with our government working on solutions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Agnes. Thank you so much. That was beautiful. What better sentiment that we could close on than that just now? So we all know what we have to do. We've got to go inside. We've got to tell the Common Council what we need. And what do we need?
Good cause.
And when do we need it?
Now.
I like that. I can't feel my fingers. Let's go talk to the council.
I'm the matriarch of Onondaga, Michelle Manos of the Beaver Clan, the steward of this land here. About evictions, we can talk about evictions. I've been evicted all my life. I'm 53 years old, dealing with genocide, active genocide. Now I've been evicted from my own sovereign, the little piece of land that the government had gave us. And I have a home there I can't live on due to my well-being and my safety, because of the takeover that the government did in 1996 with our sovereign nation. My safety, my haven, my safe haven place where I grew up on a reservation. So I came into the city here, and I'm living in the city, bouncing house to house, evicted here and there. I was evicted last year, March. So I've been houseless. I've been to Washington, D.C., I've been to the Capitol. The Vatican people, even the Vatican people, they all know me. They all know who I am. Purposely overlooked. I've been out here 10 years speaking up against these same issues that everybody's having now. Welcome to the front lines, everybody, because this is what I've been having to deal with all my life. Now I've had enough. Now we're going to start honoring our treaties. That's what we're going to start doing around here with these governments. I'm here to enforce our treaties. Now, I am the allodial title to all of this land. I possess the allodial title to all this land. Okay, I just want to say this. Treaties were not just words on paper. They were real promises made to last forever. This historic ruling proved one powerful truth. Native rights were never given up. They were only ignored. Standing up for treaty rights means standing up for the law, for honesty, for the survival. Honesty, history matters, justice matters. Treaties rights, native rights, honor the treaties. So purposely being overlooked, that's done. I've been out here 10 years. I've taken a lot of hits. Look, my face has been out. Police attacked me. You name it, from judges corrupt. I've got receipts. I've got it all this genocide, and I've had enough. Now we're going to do something about this housing. My situation at hand, that's what should be on top priority with the Syracuse housing. And this week we'll be on that, won't we? Won't we? You guys gonna help out? Forget about me? All right, I like for you guys to make sure that we get some help. You guys are all on stolen land. This is all sovereign, this is all unceded, stolen land. So once you guys start honoring us, we can start getting some justice around here. But we are the power, the people are the power, You guys help to represent us. Is that right? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.